in the church calendar, today is known as Good Shepherd Sunday. We have these lovely readings about sheep and shepherds. They're deeply comforting and evoke feelings of being cared for, being watched over, being protected. Now, there's a lot of shepherd imagery in the Bible. It's something that would have been quite familiar to people at the time. And though most of us probably have no real idea of what it's like to be a shepherd, we can imagine. And we mostly imagine a picturesque pastoral setting with happy sheep and a wise and attentive shepherd. The beloved 23rd Psalm we heard today was written by David, probably when he was a king. But he had been a shepherd earlier in his life. And in this psalm, he writes from the perspective of the sheep, whose shepherd takes extraordinarily good care of the sheep, leading them to the good grass and the still waters, guarding them against evil and providing abundantly for them. Then in the gospel, we hear one of Jesus' most well-known I am statements. I am the good shepherd, he says. The good shepherd is a fundamental representation of Jesus, especially in children's formation. At some level, we all want that figure in our lives, the one who cares for us, who watches out for us, who comes to find us when we're lost, who saves us. And in today's passage, we hear that Jesus is the one who knows the sheep, who calls them by name, who leads the sheep in and out of the sheepfold. The next part of this passage from John's gospel that we didn't hear today, Jesus continues saying again, I am the good shepherd, who lays down his life for the sheep, even in the face of the wolf. The Greek word used in these passages for good means proper or true. Jesus is the genuine shepherd who cares for sheep, not for what they would produce, but for the love of the sheep themselves, and cares that they flourish and thrive. So we have this image today of the good shepherd who knows and cares for the sheep, who is not a bandit or thief or stranger, who in fact is the very gate protecting the sheep. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came, Jesus said, that they may have life and have it abundantly. And as I think about my own sheepfold, the place where I dwell, and the times where I go out to find pasture, I find myself crying out to the Good Shepherd, "Where are you?" Because what I find in our pasture, and even in our sheepfold, are thieves and bandits and strangers who don't know how to lead the sheep. I see such political strife and division that our governments are unable to work together for the common good. I see mass shootings every day. I see how our society neglects the most needy and vulnerable every time I step out of the doors of this cathedral. My cry to the Good Shepherd is, "Where are you?" The wolf is in the pasture, the thieves have climbed in, and your lambs are being slaughtered. Where are you? And the Good Shepherd, who knows me by name, and whose voice I know, does answer me. The answer that I hear is the echo of my own words. Where are you? What I'm crying out for is someone to swoop in and save us from ourselves. At these moments, I'm really looking for the super shepherd, not the good shepherd. What the good shepherd is saying to me is, I left you pretty clear instructions about how to live. Love one another as I have loved you. And I think those instructions include learning how to be shepherds. When Jesus appeared to the disciples on the shores of the Sea of Galilee after his resurrection, he had a conversation with Peter. Do you remember how that went? Jesus asked Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" And each time, Peter insisted that he did. And Jesus' response was, "Feed my lambs. Tend my sheep. Feed my sheep." So while we can't be the good shepherd, we are called to be the best shepherds we can be to each other. We are called to be our own kind of good shepherd. And with God's help, we can be good enough shepherds. What does that look like, to be a good enough shepherd? It's as simple as using our gifts to care for and help one another. It's definitely not about trying to be something that we're not, but we all have gifts we can use, skills we have that can protect and help one another. So let's talk, for instance, about feeding the sheep, literally. It is a truly wonderful thing to sit down to a meal that someone else has prepared for you. And one of the first things we do when we know someone is sick or grieving or overwhelmed is to bring them food. What a gift it is to be fed. And after the sheep are fed, well, someone needs to clean the sheepfold, right? It really is essential for health and well-being. So what a gift are all those who keep our spaces and our world clean and beautiful. From those who clean up polluted rivers to those who scrub the floors. Some shepherds are experts at building sheepfolds and keeping them in good repair, providing comfort and safety in the places we live, the bridges we cross, the cars we drive. Some shepherds remind us of how loved we are, simply by listening to our voices, being by our side when we need to be reminded of how much we matter in this world. There are some who are good at making decisions and guiding the sheep. Some are passionate about protecting the earth, so there will always be good grass and still waters. Some shepherds know how to take us through the dangerous places of disease or crisis. Some will take the stand for justice, working to ensure that every lamb is treated with respect and dignity. And to extend this metaphor one step further, a shepherd is nothing without their sheep. While we are called to be shepherds, we are also allowed to be sheep. Welcome, in fact, to be sheep, to let others serve us, to be unsure and afraid, and to rely on a shepherd to lead us. What a gift it is to be able to be vulnerable with those who know our names and keep us safe. We can call on our Good Shepherd and know that we can catch glimpses of him all around. The last thing we heard in the gospel today was Jesus saying, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. This abundance isn't something handed to us by the super shepherd. It's not something we can grasp. This abundance is a life lived in love, a life given to us by the one who loves each of us so deeply, who knows us by name, who has given us others to love. When we learn to be good enough shepherds to each other, when we live as part of that good shepherd's flock, that is abundant life.